Proud to be their spokesperson since I've been doing this radio gig. Bought my first car there in 1982. Nobody knows cars. Nobody but Nimnik. That's the name to know, and I mean that very sincerely. So thanks to my friends at Nimnik Chevrolet, Nimnik Buick GMC, always sponsoring our Tuesday shows. Frangie Carlyon La Selva with you. We got a busy show today. Have you heard?
Absolutely. Very busy.
We have a Duval County Scholar Athlete. We love that. That comes up in about 10 minutes or so. Right after that, we got Sports in Courts. No Sports in Courts tomorrow because obviously we can't wait to start our Tom Coughlin J Fun Radiothon. We love doing that. One of our favorite days of the year. That's tomorrow. So we'll do Sports in Courts today. And one of the things I'm going to ask Brett is about the 3-game suspension for Aziz Al-Shir, which I think I'm okay with 3. I was very concerned it would be 1, maybe 2. Now he's going to try to appeal it probably down to 2. But I think minimum of 3 games. I think it was a brutal, vicious, unnecessary hit. And I was pleasantly surprised he got to 3 games.
Are you surprised that the Texans as an organization it's one thing to defend
him.
Yes,
I am. Yeah.
And talk about what a great, person he is and how charitable he is. Are you surprised it's become them indicting the Jaguars?
I am very surprised. Indicting the yeah. When D'Amico Ryan said the overreacting thing, I was incredulous. He's always been a guy that's been respected. These two teams have always respected each other. I was shocked by that. The whole how in the world for D'Amico Ryan, a tough guy football player, which is what he was, to suggest that a team's overreacting when their quarterback gets hit like that right in front of them is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So I'm beyond, to your question, I'm beyond surprised. What are you talking about? You're a freaking linebacker in the National Football League. If you were playing for the Texans and Deshaun Watson, who I assume was the quarterback when you were playing, got drilled 5 feet in front of you like that, you'd have been diving into that. There's no doubt in my mind. You know that. He knows that.
Yeah.
He's trying to defend his guy. 2 things. Number one, he's trying to keep his culture, keep his locker room. Look, I'll tell you what else they're trying to do. They're reeling a little bit. They're probably going to win the division, but they
don't know that.
They don't know that, and they're not going to do much after the division, it would look like. So he's trying to keep his guy on the field. That whole thing, the bogus apology from Al-Shir, the D'Amico Ryan's always, if you knew him, gosh, giggle, giggle, you know what a wonderful guy he is. Well, I know what I see. I've seen about 4 or 5 clips of dumbass, mean-spirited stuff he's done on the football field, so don't tell me what.
And the Houston GM, Nick Cesario, today ripped the league for the decision.
Yeah. You shut up, Nick. What do you mean ripped? I mean, what's the matter with you?
That's what I mean, if this happened to C.J. Stroud, I just can't imagine Houston would be like, well, that's the sport. I mean, so you're going to get cheap shotted sometimes. Yeah, and it's not how they would react. So again,
100%. I'm glad you brought it up. 100% agree.
I understand pointing out the good things that Aziz Al-Shir has done in their community. I understand that. But you can't then attack the team that had their quarterback absolutely blindsided with one of the cheapest shots we've seen in football in decades.
Yeah, and listen, you were there, guys. I can tell you this. In our broadcast booth, Hays, you're behind a glass. Mm-hmm. The press box behind a glass. We're not. We have a big, gigantic, open, essentially picture window in front of us. So we have the real air in front of us. It also, in our broadcast booth, is right on the 50. And it happened on our sideline right at the 50. So it was right underneath it. You could hear it. It sounded like a train wreck. You could hear how loud it was in the broadcast booth with headsets on, man. So this was not just another late hit. I think that's where I'm a bit apoplectic about this, Hays. The Texans are pushing this off as another late hit. It wasn't. It was one of the most brutal hits we've seen in years against a totally defenseless player. When a player slides, you can't fire a forearm into his head. You can't fire a forearm into a guy's head who's sliding down. And the fact that, I don't believe the Texans believe anything they're saying. I think they're trying to keep their locker room together. My guess is Aziz is a popular guy in that locker room, and they feel like if they don't defend him to over the top, that they'll lose a little bit of the locker room. That's my read on it. So anyway, but one of the reasons I want Brett Hastings to come in here, I want to talk more about that. The appeals process. Will it get appealed down? Will it get appealed down to 2? And here's the other thing. At what point we saw it with, would you say Steve Bertuzzi? That was his name?
Yes.
Bertuzzi in hockey. And
with the hockey stick.
Yeah, and then there was also one with McShear and I'm not a hockey fan. They run together, but anyway, I'll get there. I'm missing.
Well, a guy in England last year got charged with like attempted murder.
Well, that was when
he cut him in the neck.
That was when the blade got cut in the neck. Yeah, and the guy died, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
So I wonder when does it leave? When does the way to legislate this or the judicial process on this? When does it leave the sport and go to the court of the law? That's one of the questions we'll ask Brett today, because you never want that to happen. And I'm not saying this should happen, but what if Trevor Lawrence never played again?
Or what if it was determined, again, this is totally hypothetical, but what if it was determined that Al-Shazir had something in his brace that was making it even more of a weapon, like something that he had implanted in there? I'm just saying hypothetically. Then it would seem like that would rise above, competition.
So we'll have that conversation with Brett Hastings at Sports and Course. It comes up right after our Duval County Scholar Athlete. So a lot of fun features coming up today on the program. Matt Hayes will join me at 5 o'clock to talk SEC football, and what a wild finish to the SEC regular season. A crazy weekend, so we'll certainly talk about that. Matt's a big believer in strength of schedule, so I'm going to pick his brain certainly about that. It all comes up in just a bit. Signing day tomorrow. Is any more flips? I heard. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard today that not only is Florida gotten every good player around, including Danny Werfel and Emma Smith, but is there any truth to the fact that today he flipped Herschel Walker and Deion Sanders? I don't know.
That'd be nice.
That'd be about it. So
there's some crystal balls that are going Florida's way with a couple of defensive backs that are committed to Tennessee. One's a safety, one's a corner, and pretty high level prospects. So. But they have yet to make their decision public. So I again, when these analysts start crystal balling these players, they kind of know
they're all right.
It's probably like a 90% probability once you start seeing these guys, put that out there. The guys that cover it. So it seems like they're going to get two guys that they don't have now. But will those decisions be announced today, tonight, or will these two prospects just wait until their ceremony, which, again, being tomorrow, you would think they would just wait till their ceremony and have the big production.
Yeah, so we'll see what winds up happening, but recruiting certainly in the air. And college football playoff, we hit we'll get a poll tonight, but then we'll get the final one next week. Who do we think should be in, should be out, will be in, will be out based on what happens this weekend? We've got a weekend full of college football conference championship games. So we'll certainly talk about that coming up today on the program as well. Hey, JJ, I heard of a great idea. Have you heard of like the Golden at Bat or whatever it's called? I have one comment. I'll bet you love that, don't you?
I hate Rob Manfred. Okay. He's corny and lame. And I'm tired of him even coming out with this stuff. It just shows like he doesn't like baseball even. What is this? I hate the guy.
Well, that is awesome, by the way. That is an awesome take.
It's just a piece of metal, JJ, in the World Series trophy.
Let me tell you my take.
According to the commissioner of the sport.
Well, I listen, I think...
I forgot about that one.
Am I saying it right? Golden at Bat, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Or Golden something? Is it Golden at Bat, right?
Golden at Bat.
Okay. Well,
even the name stinks.
Let me tell you, I'm going to go a little different way. Let me tell you what I think. Not only do I like it, but I think there should be a silver and a bronze at bat.
Right. For your second and third.
I think by the time we expand, we expand everything. We expand playoffs. We expand rules. Okay, don't you think so?
And for the listener, it's basically he thinks. Well, I don't even know what he thinks, but the rule would be that you can bring up your best player in the lineup one time in the game, no matter where in the lineup you're at. So if Ohtani's not due up for 5 guys, but you need him in a jam,
you bring him up.
It also could mean Ohtani comes up with the bases loaded, strikes out. So next up is Ohtani.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
How about that? I mean, Ohtani comes up after Ohtani one time. Yeah, but I want to go with the silver and the bronze too.
I like the silver and the bronze. I also like the tarnished at bat where the opponent once a game gets to pick your guy.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious. That would be awesome. How bad do you feel when you hate to be the guy
that gets picked all the time? Oh,
we choose Rafael Belliard.
They're picking him again. Oh my goodness, that is really funny. What are you thinking? God Almighty! God bless his soul, Rob Manfred. And by the way, it was funny. By the way, seeing all the responses. Usually, someone will go the other way.
Oh yeah.
At some point. Oh my God, the Golden at Bat.
The only people that are going to like that are the TV executives.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, Rob.
Yeah, let's do that.
Unfortunately, those are the people who run sports.
Aaron Judge bounces into a double play. Now up, Aaron Judge. Oh, my goodness. All right.
He's batting 189 this year in the Golden at bat.
Oh, we got a lot of fun stuff. We're going to talk some Jaguar football, obviously. What's next for Trevor? Is Trevor down for the year? Should he be? We'll certainly talk about that coming up. We'll talk about Jags-Titans, always a good series. We've got a lot to do today on the program. But I want to start after our quick timeout with our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. Right after that, we will certainly have the Sports and Course. Later on, a little bit about who should be in, who's not in CFP. How high will the Gators go in this signing day flip-a-thon? We got a lot of stuff, and we'll prepare you for our J-Fund Radiothon. We're excited about that tomorrow. So we got a lot to do. Glad you're with us on a Nimnik Tuesday. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make, and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is, and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
English is their second language. Their native tongue is teal and black.
Let's go!
Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony bring you Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
10 to noon on 1010XL.
Yo, what's happening, fellas? It's your boy E to the T, and I'm going to keep it real. We could all benefit from a little something extra in the bedroom. Blue Chew can help. Now I'm about to tell you how you can get some for free. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. No doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew ships right to your door in a discreet package. Not even them nosy neighbors gonna know what's going on. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. And did I mention the chewable? Just like popping a Mentos. And they're made right here in the good old US of A. Now you're asking, how do I get my Blue Chew? Visit BlueChew.com and make sure to enter promo code 1010XL at checkout. Try it for free and just pay $5 shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's right. Use promo code 1010XL and let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you heard? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are aiming to sell 1,000 vehicles this December. How? I've told my team to take all reasonable offers. We won't lose your business over price. With thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the ground, all priced to sell, we guarantee the most money for your trade and the easiest car buying experience ever. I promise we ain't leaving nothing on the table. This is the absolute last weekend. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores.
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com. Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey folks, Dave Binion here with Zero Res. At Zero Res, we love rugs. We will treat your fine Oriental rugs with the tender and loving care they deserve. Gerard, the Zero Res rug manager, is one of the few certified master rug cleaners in Florida. If you want your rugs cleaned with tender loving care, call Zero Res. Right now, get your rugs washed and we will give you 25% off. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. It's the end of the year sale with Universal Roof and Contracting. Get 15% off all roof repairs and replacements, plus a $250 gift card for holiday shopping. With financing options as low as $150 a month, protecting your home's never been easier. Schedule your free roof inspection today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP, and this offer expires December 31st. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Roland Reach Plumbing, there when you need them. Big or small plumbing problem, call Roland Reach Plumbing anytime at 260-7059. 260-7059, where quality and experience count.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a walk-in closet that's not only beautiful, but incredibly functional for me and Beau Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com. And be sure to check out their end-of-year sale, including 18-month special financing. Closets by Design.
Mark Watson here to tell you a little bit about hardballcreative.com. It's your online promo haven with thousands of ideas on how to promote your company. We're open 24/7, 365.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Hey, let's go!
And now, this week's Scholar Athlete of the Week. Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
It is time for our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. It's a pleasure to welcome in Aaron Hull from Fletcher High School, a soccer player there. Aaron, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good to have you in here. And soccer for a long time, a captain with the soccer team at Fletcher. Tell us a little bit about the season as it's going on now, and a little bit about your soccer career.
So, as of right now, our record is 2s across the board. So we have 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties. We have a game tonight against Beachside, and then a game tomorrow night against Creekside. Creekside is going to be a tough game. They're, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they're #1 in the nation right now.
Oh, wow.
So they're going to be a tough component. And then for my soccer career, I've been playing since I've been 2 years old.
Oh, wow.
Grew up with 4 older brothers, all playing soccer, and my dad was also a coach.
Okay.
So kind of nudged in there from the beginning since I can walk. So growing up with my 4 older brothers, it was kind of just a given that I started playing soccer. So since I've been 2, I've been playing soccer.
Yeah, I can't imagine how you wound up in soccer with your dad as the coach and 4 brothers playing.
Aaron, do you have a favorite game memory that you can share with us playing for Fletcher?
Yeah, I would say my freshman year, my first goal on varsity was against First Coast on senior night, actually. I got pulled up from JV, and I got to start that senior year. And, I want to say midway through the first half, I got a through ball down the line and smacked it from outside the 18. And
very cool.
But yeah, I think that would be my best memory in
that's
varsity
awesome.
soccer.
And what makes soccer special? We have a lot of soccer players in here, and it's certainly soccer is very robust and vibrant on the First Coast. What makes soccer special? What makes it special to be on a soccer team?
So I would say just the brotherhood of my teammates, and I know that all of them have my back, no matter what. And going into every season, I have a better outlook knowing that we've got new guys coming in from the middle school. We got a young kind of group coming in. And then just knowing that our varsity, our senior players are kind of leading everybody. And it's just a great atmosphere to be out on the field and just being able to go out there and play the sport I've been playing since I've been young and playing the same sport as all my brothers and my entire family. It's just, it's a great thing to be a part of.
Aaron, what are your college plans?
So as of right now, I was admitted to University of Central Florida for the fall semester, and then I'm still waiting on the acceptance for University of Florida, which will come out in January. So as of right now, University of Florida is my top choice, and then Central Florida is my second choice.
And what will you study, and what do you plan to do down the road?
So as of right now, I'm looking into engineering. Haven't really kind of narrowed down my search on either mechanical or aerospace. Those are kind of my two that I'm kind of pinpointing down so far. But as of right now, I'm just waiting until I get in there to kind of test out what I kind of like, because I know like the baselines of what each one is about, but not really sure what I kind of want to do in each one. But looking past college and stuff, I know I want to be an engineer 100%. I love calculus, love math, love the way things are kind of put together. So that's kind of my main reason for doing engineering. So I think it would be an awesome experience to just be an engineer.
Well, that's awesome. And I got a hunch you're going to get into the University of Florida and be a very good engineer.
Appreciate that.
Aaron Hall is our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. Terrific student, terrific soccer player from Fletcher. Thanks for coming by. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Aaron Hall from Fletcher High School did a terrific job there, and he's going to be a terrific student. And I'm going to guess if he wants to go to Florida, he's going to get into Florida. That'd be very surprising if he does not.
He should get in.
I think he should. So,
he's got an outstanding resume, and he's a great young man.
Really sharp guy. Really, really sharp. Like you made the point. Last week, I think it was, and it continues. We always have sharp student athletes, but this has been a group this year. Really strong year. All right, Brett Hastings is going to join us in just a moment. We're going to talk a little bit about the suspension of Aziz Al-Shahir. I'll give you my thoughts on it. Again, number one, I'm glad it was 3 games. I could certainly live with more. You made the point for the season yesterday. I could have lived with that. It would have never held up. I think the league, John Runyon, by the way, some very strong words. To Aziz. I do think
because he was bothered by him not leaving immediately and circling back and starting a second problem.
Well, that was the problem is the hit on Trevor was treacherous and dirty and cheap, but he added to it before and after Hays. Before, because of the history he has of cheap shots and whatnot. That's the before, and the after is the way he acted right afterwards. So I think he added to that. So so he's gonna appeal. He's gonna probably try to get it appealed down to 2 games. What is the appeal process like, and does it ever leave the sports field and go into the court of law? JJ, fire it up for us.
Now time for Sports and Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
All right, my buddy Brett Hastings is here. Good to see you here. Glad you're here. And we got a big day Friday to talk about. We'll do that in just a second.
For sure.
But let me start with this. Aziz Al-Shahir gets a 3-game suspension. The league suspended him. There is an appeals process. Take me through how that will work, and then I've got some other questions about sports events that even leave the field and go into the court of law. We'll get that in a minute, though. Tell me through the appeals process.
So essentially think of this like an arbitration, right? Everybody's kind of already agreed what the rules are in these types of circumstances. As you had mentioned, there's a group of former players. A lot of times in an arbitration format, there's a list of people you can choose from or whatever. Here, I think somebody's chosen for you. And you can think of them as the fact finder, sort of like the jury, right? They're going to make a determination. They're going to look at, what had happened there. They'll hear some arguments from each side, and then they're going to decide whether or not they're going to uphold the suspension. I can't fathom that they won't uphold the suspension.
You don't even think it'll be reduced down to 2? I hope not. I hope you're right. I'm glad to hear you say that.
I don't, based on just, what I've seen and, just watching football.
Well, I hope you're right.
And you got to remember, we have players, right, that are going to go in there to make this decision.
Right.
And I think these guys have had good careers and gone through. This is about player safety and protection. I heard what you guys were saying on the drive in. Couldn't agree more. And, what you don't want to have is retaliation, right?
Right.
Do you think the Texans would take any of those positions if they just said, hey, okay, and went over there and laid the same type of hit on Stroud? Right. Absolutely not. You can't have it. You can't have this in Little League football, okay?
I agree.
You're sure not going to have it when you have a $275 million asset out there. Yeah, I think you'll see the other players and the other, really everybody throughout the NFL back this.
We know on the athletic field, things don't normally become a criminal offense, what would have had to have happened? Would, like, if Al-Shahir put something in his brace to make it more of a weapon and that was found later, could that be criminal? Is there any, or is it, when you're on the athletic field, very, very hard for that to translate to the legal system?
So the reason we see very few lawsuits or what have you, right, is because we all, or athletes, assume the risk of what could happen within the game, okay? But the line, if you're going to draw it, I think is always going to come down to intent, okay? You know, we talk about negligence, and then we talk about there are intentional torts that are out there. You could be sued civilly, and there's always intent in a criminal charge. That's really what separates criminal law from civil law, all right? When you're in law school, they teach you some Latin terms. There's a thing called mens rea and actus reus, and that's what you have to have a crime. Mens rea is a guilty mind, and then you have to have a guilty act. When somebody runs into the rear of somebody, they can affect their life, right? I know that. That's what we do every day. But it's very rare that somebody intends to run into it. So that's negligence. As a general rule, negligence is never going to be the basis to be able to sue, especially in an athletic context. Now, yeah, if you had a metal under your arm so that you could inflict hurt, that would be consistent with intent, and I think that's where you would see somebody be able to be sued or criminally held responsible. The few suits that we have seen, again, I'm not a hockey guy, right? But
same
you
here.
know, you know, I think the one that sticks with people is the Marty McSorley.
Right.
Okay.
That's the one I was trying to think
now
of,
that was in Canada. Okay.
Right.
But he was charged criminally there.
Right.
And you know, taking hockey sticks or whatever obviously can become a weapon, right? You know, I mean, you know, not to make light of this, but if what happens with all these flags after college football games, right? I mean, could you turn around and stick that in somebody or gouge somebody's eye out? Well, that would be a time when you would say, okay, that wasn't something that you assumed the risk of within the football game, and that could be different.
All right, this is not going to happen, so don't Trevor Lawrence is going to be fine. Whether he plays again this year or starts next year, Doug Peterson made it clear he's fine. But if not, if Trevor Lawrence never played again, now it's not going to happen. This is all hypothetical. Would he then have a civil case against Al-Shahir?
Yeah, in theory, yes, right? It would come down to, was that something that he assumed? You know, what happens is when you file a lawsuit, you file a complaint, and then people file back defenses, right? And so you would go out and you would make some defenses as it relates to that. You know, I think that would be a hard lawsuit to go do, but there are times in the law that the outcome, right, is what ends up changing, you know, how you would prove or be able to kind of go do it.
What if Al-Shahir, if a text arose, you know, 3 days before the game where he's texting a buddy or somebody saying, hey, watch on Sunday, I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence out of this game.
Right, that's intent. And then that would get right back. You know, intent is incredibly hard to prove, right? Because a lot of times we don't have a text.
But that would prove.
We don't have a video. Yeah. We don't have that. But that would be proof that would go towards intent. Right now, the proof is the video, right? It's exactly what we all just saw. And, you know, these players are going to go in there and they're going to look at it. You know, and it was interesting because you hear a lot of perspectives, but the people that I've heard that condemn it the most are former other defensive players. And as a general rule, you know, we have a famous legal case where they talk about what's obscenity. Well, I know it when I see it.
Right.
This is sort of that. I know it when I see it. I'd heard a couple of analysts say that they had a concern at how low he was coming in anyways. Right. Like that's not a way you come up to hit a quarterback anyways. And I think we all, because you watch football and we do get frustrated. There are a lot of other bang plays where it's clear that intent isn't a part of it, and that's part of football, and we don't want to soften football. But I think when you saw that, you just thought, wow, right? I mean, before I saw Trevor's reaction and you saw his hand sitting up stiff, you knew that he had probably just been concussed. Those are all, you know, that clinically that's, you know, what they tell us, and we hear in depositions with, you know, with the doctors. But the reality is you could just see that initially and go, this is way too far. I'm shocked that D'Amico Ryans, this GM, that they have even taken this tack. And, you know, I don't think that does anything to help him in that hearing. I think that's going to make it harder for them with the league. So I think you don't say anything and then you go make those arguments behind closed doors.
Or privately. Interesting stuff. Red Hastings in your law firm. Friday's a special day, I know, for us, and I know it's a special day for you. It's our holiday toy drive. You have sponsored this. You built this thing many years ago, and you allowed us to help build it with you. We benefit Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Tell us a little bit about it. So I know you're looking forward to Friday afternoon on our program. So are we.
Well, hope to see a lot of the listeners that come every year, but I really would love to have some new people come out. You know, as I told you, when we first did this, I was always worried, hey, is anybody going to show up? Are we going to get any toys? Every year, I think you said it best probably like a decade ago, you go, this will reinstill, you know, what you think about people and humanity and all of it. And every year it really does. And so come out, bring an unwrapped toy. You don't need to wrap anything up. We literally do it at the Ale House, and the people at the Ale House are great because it's right there in front of Target, in front of Walmart. If you're going out before a holiday party, hey, don't go to a happy hour. I'll buy you a drink. You bring a gift. And the most amazing thing about this is, you know, here are all these kids, young boys, young girls. They're looking for mentorship. They're looking for leadership. It's great what Big Brothers and Big Sisters does. But this toy drive, these kids, 90% of these kids don't get anything else for Christmas other than these toys. So, you know, as you know, the Wagners come out every year. They never had kids. And so every year they go out, they get a couple of cocktails, and they go and shop as if they have kids, and they bring them in. So, you know.
It's an amazing day, and it's very special, very emotional for all of us. It's this Friday, coming up December 6th at the Ale House, which is the Miller's Ale House at the corner of Hodges and Beach. And we picked that because, hey, like Brett just said, there's a Target there, there's a Walmart there, both like right next door. So we make it easy for you. Bop in there and get something for these kids. And I'm glad you said it. We'll say it a lot on Friday and before Friday. But these truly are children. This isn't a sales line. These are children that this might be all they get. And your kids and my kids have always had a lot of presents. But a lot of the children we affect here, thanks to our friends at Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Sarah Alford and her terrific team, make sure they get to the right kids. So it's a special time. So, Brett, we're looking forward to it. We will see you on Friday. I can't wait to do it one more time. The toy drive goes from 4 to 7. Our show is from 4 to 6, but we'll stick around there a little bit, hang out a little bit afterwards. It's a great day.
Al Scherer will get nothing. He's on the naughty
He gets nothing. Well said. Exactly right. The naughty list.
Doesn't even get coal.
Right. Brett, thanks, buddy. We appreciate that. We'll take a break. More in a moment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
I'm Julie Harrell. I grew up here in Jacksonville and have seen our city grow as well as the number of car crashes. If you need help after a crash, choose a law firm with an actual office here. Lawyers you can meet with face-to-face and who specialize in personal injury. At Harrell & Harrell, we've been here for nearly 40 years, developing relationships with local doctors, law enforcement, helping people just like you. If you've been injured in a crash, call Harrell & Harrell. Offices Jacksonville.
We're H-A-P-P-Y, H-A-P-P-Y, because Happy Honda Days are here. Everything is bigger. Bigger selection, bigger discounts, bigger trade-in values. Honda, quality, value, safety. Don't miss Happy Honda Days, going on now at your local Honda dealer.
Epic offers. Factory direct pricing on AC equipment from Epic Cool Heating and Air. Call 904-859-EPIC. Epic discounts for military, police, first responders, and 1010 listeners like you. Epic Cool Heating and Air.
It's holiday time at Best Bet St. Augustine and Orange Park. Get ready for thrilling promotions and tournaments all month long. Don't miss the 12 days of Christmas high hands with over $330,000 in payouts and the Clockwork Cash Out Table Games promotion, giving away $300 in cash every 15 minutes on select weekends. Celebrate the season with nonstop excitement at Best Bet. For all the details, head over to bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Brian Wall here with Window World. You know that awesome feeling when you finally find that one place to go to that will give you a top quality product at a great price and then stand behind what they sell you? That's exactly what Window World does. Top quality, energy efficient windows at a great price that keeps more of your money in your bank account. with the absolute best guarantee in the window replacement business. That's why Window World has been the #1 window replacement company in the USA for years, selling more than 1 million windows each year for the past 8 years. That's a lot of satisfied customers, and you can be one too. Save money on installing new energy-efficient windows and save on your energy bills too. You can't lose. And if anything goes wrong with your new Window World windows ever, Window World and I will be there to make it right. Call Window World today or see them online and have them come and give you a free estimate and see why we are so proud of our products and the work we do for our customers. Call Window World or go online at windowworldneflorida.com. And thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Jacksonville's football phenoms tell us where they're heading when high school's early signing period begins. I'm Hacker, and 1010XL will tell you everything you need to know.
College football's early signing period coverage is brought to you by
San Jose Collision.
Elbow pain, whether acute or chronic, can make it difficult to do normal activities like playing sports, doing household chores, or even sleeping comfortably. Dr. George Barry here, and no one wants to deal with pain without solutions on how to feel better. We've all heard of tennis and golfer's elbow, but there's plenty more that can cause pain, like osteoarthritis, muscle tears, and nerve entrapment. All are treatable at Barry Orthopedics. Getting you back to full health is our mission, and there's a number of different treatment options we can offer. Call us today or visit BarryOrthopedics.com.
Got a cracked windshield? Not only is it dangerous, but did you know it's also illegal? Call Baker Glass. Mack and his crew use the best auto glass in the market, and they accept most insurance. Plus, all new windshields come with a full warranty. From cars to trucks to RVs, you can count on Baker Glass to be fast and friendly. Just check out their Google reviews. Come see us at the shop on Casta Avenue, or we can come to you at your home or business.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Being an athlete means having a healthy desire to do as much as you can with your body for as long as you can. Gatorade has lower sugar, electrolyte-backed hydration options to keep you rehydrated and replenished. Gatorade, for every athlete.
From Gatorade Zero to Gatorade Endurance Formula and Gator Light, there's something for every athlete. Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. It's a win-win. Gatorade, official partner of the NFL.
Hacker here. I know I've been sharing my Awaken 180 story for a while now, talking about how much I lost every week, and yeah, that's cool, but I get it, redundant. So let me tell you something that hit me like a freight train the other day. I checked out my Awaken 180 weigh-in portal, and the number just clicked. I started at nearly 320 pounds, and today, my scale read just over 200 pounds. Let that sink in. I'm now lighter than 90% of my buddies. And let me tell you, that's a flex I couldn't dream of a year ago. I owe it all to my Awaken 180 coach and to the program set out to work for anyone. It's been absolutely life-changing. Don't just take my word for it. Head over to my Twitter at RyanGreen1010XL. You'll see the transformation for yourself. But the real transformation, that's how I feel every single day, every step I take, and every morning I wake up. Get that same feeling. Awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Dr. Turner Vossler, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Evan Ingram was asked in the locker room about how he thought his team did handling their anger and aggression after the brawl broke out due to the dirty hit on Trevor Lawrence at Sunday's game.
I think we did a great job with the discipline part afterwards. Obviously, it was a mess. It could have got worse. Could have handled it wrong, but I think we responded really well. We kept playing, kept our composure, and we had a shot to win it. Did some good things on offense and didn't get one more shot at it at the end. So definitely a tough thing to do after something like that, but proud of the guys staying locked in and just continue to fight.
The league announced last night that Azeez Al-Shaair will be suspended for 3 games due to the controversial hit on Lawrence. I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
See, when you give me a little bit of that mid-70s Boston, I can't get quite as mad at the fact that Aroldis Chapman is signing with the Red Sox today after pitching for the Pirates last year, okay? And I get some of this Boston going from that original Boston album. This would be Smokin', 1975. It's been sort of a cool hot stove season, hadn't it, JJ? Not a lot going on.
I even searched, which I rarely do, just like Braves, just to see what the talk was. And I didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen anything with the Soto signing in a few days either. That's obviously the big one. But yeah, I've been sort of
quiet,
bored by this.
Yeah, me too. And the hot stove season used to be the most fun, but it's stretched out now.
Well, and it just seems like it's a down year. I mean, other than Soto.
Yeah,
correct.
And I think more than ever, there is the belief that all the big names are going to the coasts. All the big names are going to wind up with, the LA teams, the Boston teams, the New York
Yankees got to get somebody if they don't get Soto.
That's right. So because that's kind of how it goes. But we'll keep an eye on it for sure. All right, Hays. The Jaguars now are officially eliminated. People chuckle at that; they've been eliminated, but now it's mathematically they're out. They're out of the wild card. They're out of the league. They're out of the playoff. They're 2-10. Given that,
thanks to Jameis, by the way.
What's that?
Thanks to Jameis last night.
Jameis, the 2 pick sixes took the Jaguars out.
Oh, my goodness. What a crazy game. That was 500 yards.
Was a wildly entertaining game.
Yeah, as always.
I thought it was going to be 13-10.
And Jameis has become one of the most entertaining guys in the league for his comments, his play, all of it, hasn't he? So he really has.
Deliver me from pick sixes.
Deliver me. Oh, God will deliver me from pick sixes. That was tremendous. So now the Jags, again, I don't know how much it changed, but every game matters. I'm a big believer of that. But it certainly doesn't matter toward an end season run because that's over. If you're the Jags now, are you more likely to hold Trevor out for the long haul because of that, in addition to being in concussion protocol for a second time in 2 years? Are you more likely to play young players? Are there guys you want to see now? Are there, whether it's practice squad guys? In your mind, Hays, what would change for you, if anything, given their circumstance now?
Yeah, I wouldn't bring Trevor back, even if he's cleared from the concussion. I just think at this point, you would hate to see another injury. He's already dealing with a shoulder, what may require surgery. Now, obviously, you're dealing with a second concussion within the span of a calendar year. So that would be too much for me to put him out there in what is really meaningless football. I think if this staff was new, if this was Doug's first year, or if you had a very strong inclination that everybody was coming back, then yes, you might play some younger guys. But I think they're just playing out the string. I mean, I think it's going to be a new staff, a new front office, and so I don't think there's going to be a big push to get younger guys out there. And really, other than like maybe a Mason Smith, Ventrell Miller, I'm not really sure that there's a lot of candidates anyway. In terms of guys that you want to get a look at. And again, I think it's going to be a totally new brain trust. So I think it's pretty much status quo. And for Doug's sake and Trent's sake, I'm sure they hope that they, finish 3-2 or, and at least have something to hold on to as they make their case as why they should stay. But I don't think so. I don't think it's going to greatly change. But I would absolutely shelve Trevor Lawrence. I'd put him on injured reserve. But everybody else, I think you want the reps for Brian Thomas Jr. So I would probably force feed him the ball even more. I did like the play they had the other day where they brought him into the backfield and then just kind of gave him a quick toss, and he got a first down on the play. So I think because of where this is, because I still think I could be wrong, but I think the organization's getting ready to do a hard reset with a new GM and a new coaching staff. So, based on that, I don't think I would put in, a slew of younger guys and make just mass changes, because I think all that's going to do is take a team that, isn't very good now, but could win some of these games down the stretch. And I think you just remove any chance. I mean, at that point, I think you even get accused of tanking if, they decide to put 9 new starters out there.
Yeah, no, when I 200% agree with it. You got to still try to win the game. And I think you are dead on, and the games do matter. You get paid to play them. Experiencing winning now helps you win down the road. You're right. If the coach and GM are on the hot seat and about to be fired, they want to win as many games as they can. But even beyond that, the goal is to win the game. And the goal. So I think you're right, Hays. I don't think you make a lot of changes that would affect whether or not you can win the game. Having said that, I do think you can subtly look at people. If Keelan Robinson, who was finally up last week, I'd want to see what he looks like as an NFL running back or an NFL return guy, just to see. I wouldn't play him a lot, but I'd be more likely to give him a few reps now than I would if I was in a pennant race, if you will. So he's one guy that comes to mind. I would certainly play Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson. They're rookies that you drafted along the defensive front. I don't think the tackle play has been very good, so I would probably take a peek at those guys. There would be more Ventrell Miller than the veteran guys, to your point, for me. There would be more Antonio Johnson for me than there would be more veteran guys. Just to see. I would probably I want to, you know what? And I want to get reps for guys who are going to be important next year, like Parker Washington. He's going to be important. Brenton Strange, he's going to be important as you move forward. So Keelan Robinson, Jordan Jefferson, Mason Smith, maybe Miles Cole. I don't mean everybody all at once. I wouldn't change my starters. To your point, I agree with you. I'd still try and go win the game. But I wouldn't mind a peek at some of those guys. I really wouldn't mind a peek at some guys that you've drafted and that you're invested in. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. As for Trevor, I want to learn more, but I can't imagine that as bad as the concussion looked, and again, we're not doctors. I want to be clear about that. Not that you need us to be clear about that, but I want to be clear that we're not trying to act like that. But I can't imagine him coming back anytime soon. Whether there's a difference between sitting out the rest of the year or playing the last 2 games, I don't know if in my mind there's a big difference between that. But I can't imagine rushing him back. And I think nobody would be surprised now if they shut him down. So I would not have shut him down with the shoulder. I said that all along. If he can play, he can play. Kevin Kaplan, the terrific team surgeon, would not put him out there or allow him to play if he couldn't. But a concussion's a whole new series of issues. So I wouldn't mind seeing some of the young guys. I wouldn't mind seeing Jordan Jefferson, Mason Smith, Keelan Robinson, a few more balls, maybe Miles Cole, a few more balls to Parker Washington, a few more balls to Brenton Strange. Again, you are out of it. Keep trying to win the game. Keep playing your best guys, but maybe a peek at some of those younger guys, even if it's just a peek.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, some of it, Mason Smith is a guy they need to get a long look at because you invested a second-round pick on him. So even if it's a new administration, they're going
to need tape.
He's going to be in the plan. A guy like, a Miles Cole, that's a 7th-round pick. Okay, that's one where, the new staff will come in and they'll make an evaluation. But if you move on from him, fine. Brenton Strange it's a good example. Yeah, you would like to see more. I mean, it seems like Brenton Strange is an ascending player, but obviously has a fantastic starter ahead of him. So again, maybe you do protect Evan Ingram a little bit and reduce his snap count just slightly to create some more opportunities for Brenton Strange. Keelan Robinson, sure, if they want to see, again, they didn't invest a lot in him. So, if that's something that.
But you did draft him.
They did draft him. But I mean, I with Etienne and Bigsby, I'd probably want them to handle the majority of everything.
Yeah, so, me too, by the way.
No, yeah, I know. I mean, I get what you're saying. Just like a sprinkle, a sprinkle of snaps.
Just a taste.
Just to get some idea. I understand all that. But, I just think they're in a tough spot. I mean, from that standpoint, because, again, I'm going to assume the Jaguars are operating like a functional, normal franchise for a second. And I have to assume that because I'd put the probability of what the other 31 clubs would do in this situation is about like 95% that the coach and GM are fired. So, I mean, I think it's incredibly unlikely that Shad Khan brings them both back. But, so with that being said, it's hard as a fan, but I honestly think for the next 5 games, it's basically just, you're just sort of playing out the string. I mean, I think I understand if fans root for them to lose now. I mean, you're out of it. I don't think in this draft having the number 1 pick is going to be, that much of an advantage, but if any, but I understand that people wanting that. I mean, so, well, and again, that could help, that could be a feather in your cap when you're trying to hire a GM, that, you've got a lot of prime draft capital, regardless if the GM even thinks he's going to use the pick, just have the opportunity to perhaps trade back and pick up more as they attempt to, rebuild this thing is too strong, but retool it. This isn't a rebuild, but there definitely needs to be a retooling of it.
The first thing you said is the most important thing. That you still got to try to win the game. If you got Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne and you decide to give 14 carries to Keelan Robinson, you're not trying to win the game. You got to win. Winning the game does matter. Don't let anyone tell you, well, they're 2-10, they're out of it. Winning a game doesn't matter. It does. Winning a game always matters. It helps you the next week. It helps you the next year. So I agree with you.
The thing that's so weird too is they can't even play spoiler.
Yeah,
because the teams are going to play down the stretch
aren't in it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they could spoil it for the Colts if the Colts are in the running in the finale.
Point.
But the Titans are out of it. I mean, not mathematically like the Jaguars are, but basically the Titans are out of it. That's 2 games. The Raiders are basically out of it. That's a game. The Jets are basically out of it. That's a game. And then you've got the Colts finale. So it's just such an odd position to be in because you have so much more of the season left, but it's meaningless because this isn't a new staff. It's not like this is a build. It looks like you're playing 5 games and then you're restarting this thing.
So it'll be interesting to see how they play it. So more Jaguar talk as the week goes along. When we come back, though, let's get it to SEC football. My friend Matt Hays joins us. It's the SEC Report brought to you by Underwoods after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
When you don't want to wait till tomorrow for analysis of today's game, get it 2 hours after the final whistle. Hacker Leon and Coach Campo bring you the window world of Northeast Florida 5th quarter. Presented by Von Rowan Law and Hurricane Grill and Wings. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Find your holiday season stride with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And check out their cool prop bets. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a double bonus. For a limited time, MyBookie will double your money on your first deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 3.5-point underdog at the Titans. The over-under is 40 points. The Bills are a 4.5-point road favorite against the Rams. The Chargers getting 3.5 points at the Chiefs. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a double bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
When you're shopping for insurance, you might say, "What? Huh?"
I'm so over this.
But what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this.
Call State Farm agent Rami Elabu, 309-9077.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
The best best teal-colored coverage includes Mia's Quick Hits.
Get the latest news from inside the building and around the league. I'm Mia O'Brien, 1010XL's NFL Insider.
Driven by Arlington Toyota. Available on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This holiday season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. With the purchase of a $75 gift card or more, guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes the perfect gift. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Hickens' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Jingle bells, plumbing's gone astray. A burst pipe, no hot water clogged drain on Christmas Day. That's no holiday. Call Duck Duck Rooter. We're faster than Santa's sleigh.
904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
American Electrical is looking for bright minds and hard workers to help light up North Florida. The community continues to grow, and now you can grow your career with a company that will make sure you succeed through commitment. Take advantage of the Electrical Academy, dedicated to training select students. And the best news, it's free of charge. Log on to american-electrical.com to find out more. They're leading the way in electrical contractors on the First Coast, and you can be part of the team. American Electrical, powered by professionalism. Equal opportunity employer.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. HairForMe.com.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. More high school football playoffs took place over Thanksgiving weekend, starting off with a great local matchup between Bishop Kenny and Rains on Friday night. Rains handled Bishop Kenny in comfortable fashion, 44-15. The Vikings continued to assert dominance in the run game, led by juniors Timothy Cole with 8 carries for 160 yards and a touchdown, and Tadarius Washington, who carried the rock 17 times for 134 yards and a score. The 12-0 Rains Vikings will welcome in Booker High School on Friday night in the 3A semifinals. The Bulls Bulldogs state championship hopes unfortunately fell apart last Friday night as they went down to Gadsden County on the road 21-9. Naheem Burrows was the only Bulldog who found the end zone Friday night on his 2 catches for 44 yards performance. It's 51 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time to talk all things SEC. Brought to you by Underwood Jewelers with college football insider Matt Hays on The Frangie Show.
All right, let's talk some SEC football. We do thank our friends from Underwood Jewelers who do such a fantastic job. My buddy Clayton Bromberg and all the folks over at Underwood. Been getting our jewelry there for a long time and will for the long haul. Thank you, Clayton, and all the folks at Underwood Jewelers. Matt Hays joins us now. Matt, what a game last week in Athens, Georgia. I got to tell you, it was maybe one of the best games I've seen, and I can't tell you how long. Wasn't that exhilarating?
It was a phenomenal game. Although I keep going back to the first overtime, and I don't know why more coaches don't do this. In the first overtime, if you play defense first, the other guy scores, you got to go for 2.
Yeah.
You just got to. I mean, that's just – or you're going to be doing that. You're going to be trying to play a game of attrition with a team that's deeper than you, especially in that situation. And that's that's a tough way to go out. A tough way to lose a game like that when they played so well at Georgia Tech.
Hey, let me ask you, and this report is to talk about SEC teams, not anybody else, but since we're talking about it and you cover college football so well across the board, I think Georgia Tech's got something there with Brent Key and moving forward. You think so? I think they might be that can be a rising program. Do you think so?
Oh yeah, they got a good quarterback too coming up. Peel's a good player.
Right.
They actually burned his red shirt because he played one play in that game. One play. So he lost the red. Now, they might be able to appeal it, but he lost his red shirt because Haynes King got, I don't know what happened. He either got dinged or something for one play, and then Peel came in and ran that little whatever it was, that zone read that got nothing.
Right.
That was the only play he played in the game.
It was his 5th game. I didn't realize it was his 5th game. Wow, that wasn't very
crazy,
smart.
right?
Yeah, it is crazy. So, all right, let's talk about the SEC teams. First of all, the game, Georgia, Texas. I think if you and I were sitting there in Dallas talking about the game, I think we probably would have predicted Georgia, Texas, right? So there's a lot of machinations of the season that went on, but when it was all over, no real surprise, right, that these two were in the game.
No, I think it was a lot more difficult for Georgia than we thought, and I think a lot easier for Texas than we thought, mainly because I don't think the Texas schedule ended up being what it could have been. Oklahoma clearly was not the same team. Florida was not the team they are now. You look at that schedule. They didn't play a true road game in the SEC till the end of October. So you start really looking at that schedule, and it was kind of set up for them to have a nice run, especially with the team they had. I'm not trying to minimize the team they had because they have a very good team. But it was a very advantageous schedule for them.
Yeah, and so here we go. All right, before I go any further, who's going to win? I got a lot of stuff to talk to you about. Let's not bury the lead here. Georgia and Texas, who's going to win the game and why?
You know, you look at that Texas A&M game, you're like, boy, that Texas defense, boy, they get after it. But you start to look at the Texas A&M on offense. I'm just not sure that's, is that the right judge? Is that the right, barometer that you need to look at? It's very hard for me to pick against Georgia, but I think I'm going to pick Texas in this game. I really do.
You like Texas in there? I like Georgia in the game.
I just think that Texas defense is really playing well. And Quinn Ewers, when they can protect him, he's deadly accurate when they can protect him. And I think that you've learned now from that first game. At least you would hope they've learned how to protect him and what to do. And Sark's very good at adjusting and getting guys open and figuring out moving from A to B after A's been taken away from him. So that's kind of why I'm going with Texas. I don't like it, Frank. I got to be honest. I don't like it, but I'm doing it.
All right. So now let's look ahead to the playoff. In your opinion, are both Georgia and Texas in? Are Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee in? And is there anything that could change? Can Alabama get in? As far as the SEC teams, what is your guess and expectation for how it'll play out a week from tonight?
So I think Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee are all in.
Already in, no matter what happens. Okay.
Yeah, no matter what happens. And I think you're going to get one more from the league in, and be that Alabama, be it South Carolina, be it Ole Miss. One more is going to get in. The difficult one, I think, is it's very difficult to look at Ole Miss and say they should be in. But if you start to look at, like, Ole Miss beat Georgia by 18. Ole Miss beat South Carolina by 24 in Columbia.
Yeah.
And then you start to look at their losses. They lost to a 4-win Kentucky team. That was a bad loss. Obviously a bad loss. They lost to LSU. But both the LSU and the Kentucky games were both freak fourth down conversions that won those games. And those are two plays that are keeping Ole Miss from not just 9-3, but 11-1 and playing in that championship game, right? So they're that close to being that type of team. And they were very close in that Florida game, too. So I don't know that I would just automatically say it's going to be Alabama, because I think at this point, when you're at this point in the process of finding out who's playing who, you got to look at the totality of the situation. You can't be a prisoner of the moment. You can't be stuck on one game. You got to look at strength of schedule, who they played, and what happened. And I truly believe in that. Unfortunately, I think you're going to get some other things when you start looking at the overall 12 teams. Like I've been saying this forever now, and I don't know why Indiana's in the top 12. I just don't. I mean, you're talking about a team that's played played one game against a top 25 team and lost by 23. Now, I say that, but I'm telling you right now, Frank, and you mark my words, when you're watching the reveal tonight, Michigan will be in like number 25 because they have to find a way to keep Indiana in that 12.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can say Indiana's part of the 12 against all those other teams behind them that have better strength of schedules and went through a more difficult test. And your only reason that Indiana's in your top 12 is because they won 11 games with an easy schedule. Well, Army won 10 games, could win 11. Memphis won 10 games. We can go down the road. Louisiana could win 11 games. What does that mean? Yeah. Is Indiana's schedule any tougher than those teams? You would think so, right? But what do you know? Look at that schedule. It's not that good.
Well, and I'll be interested in, look, as long as there's been college football polls, the Alliance, the BCS, the Coalition, we've had a bunch of different names for it, right? The loss column is always trump strength of schedule. Now, you're making the point that strength of schedule should trump the loss column. It happened last year. Florida State was an undefeated team and didn't get in, so the loss column didn't matter. Do you believe the committee will follow your thinking? Because I don't. I think they're going to put Indiana in because Indiana's 11-1, and I think Indiana's going in, Matt, whether that's my opinion. I think Indiana's going in. I don't disagree with you in terms of the way it should be, but I think at the end of the day, there's no doubt in my mind that Indiana's in because of the loss column. You disagree?
No, 100% they're in. 100%.
Okay. You're just saying they shouldn't be.
I'll tell you something else. What has Penn State done? What have they done? Who have they beaten? So I think you can start going over all these teams, and you can start going over the advantageous schedules, okay? And I get it because we've expanded to 16 and 18 teams in these two conferences. You're going to have where teams are going to get easier schedules in specific years, and it just so happens that both Penn State and Indiana have just been basically gift wrapped the schedules, and that's then you're going by the fact that they've got 11 wins, and again I don't buy that. I know the committee will buy that. I know the four coaches on that committee are going to say, boy, it sure is hard to win 11 games now. Right. I don't care who you play. And that's it's just wrong thinking.
SMU, number one, is SMU in even if they lose to Clemson?
I don't think so.
They're out. So Clemson and
I think it's only one big league, yeah.
Okay, so SMU and Clemson both have to win to get in. In that case, is Miami out?
Yeah, I think Miami's out.
Miami's out.
I think the ACC and the Big 12 are one big leagues.
Okay.
And Notre Dame obviously gets one. The Group of Five gets one, and I think the Big 10 gets four, and the SEC gets four.
Okay. You know what? I could see it. Interesting stuff. So because it's a tough go for Miami, who's been so good for so long, but played a lot of games close, a lot of games on the edge. So, all right, very good. Before we let you go, the Florida turnaround. I'll tell you two things that I thought. Look, I'm a Gator guy, so I'll watch all the Gator games. I follow Florida State and Georgia and Miami because our fans care about that. But I'd be disingenuous, Matt, if I told you I watch them the way I watch the Gator games because the Gators are my team. So I watch every play of the Florida games. Last week's the first time this year I've watched not Georgia Tech, I guess I did. But for the most part, the first time I watched every play of a Florida State game. Matt, how did Florida State, and I know this is an SEC report, but indulge me. How did Florida State get that bad? You cover college football. You talk to everybody in college football. How did it happen that Florida State team got this bad this quickly?
You live by the portal, you die by the portal.
Yeah.
You're not going to get Braden Fisk every year. You're not going to get Keon Coleman every year. Jordan Travis was a portal guy, believe it or not.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if everybody remembers that. He's from Louisville originally.
Right.
So you're not going to get guys like that all the time. You're going to get guys that are 90% of the reason why those guys are in the portal. They're the unloved and the unwanted. Those are the guys you're going to get. and 80, 90% of the time it doesn't work out like you think it's going to work out, then you have a problem at the most important position on the field. You take a chance on a guy who clearly was just a guy for his previous 4 years, and you think you can make him different. And I think every coach thinks they can make somebody different, and it doesn't happen. Then you lose early, and it starts to steamroll on you. Then you lose confidence, and away you go. And then the thing unravels. And that's another thing too, Frank. The whole Florida State thing at the end of the game with Norvell taking that flag and throwing it, I don't think that had anything to do with them jumping them down.
I agree.
That had everything to do with the fact that they were 2-10.
I agree.
It all unraveled, and Napier kept flipping his recruits. That's what that was all about.
Yeah, I 100% agree. He was frustrated. I said the same thing. He was just, and I get it. He was frustrated with the season. But everything you said about live by the portal, die by the portal, missed on a couple guys, that usually turns a 13-0 team into a 6-6 team, a 7-5 team.
Right, but they don't recruit well in the high school recruiting. That's another problem.
Yeah.
He hasn't hit the high school recruits that well, and they haven't developed them that well either.
Obviously, I mean, I was shocked at what happened. Final thing, the Gators, this turnaround, I don't know that anybody saw this coming. I damn sure didn't see it coming. I could see signs.
I don't think Billy Napier saw it coming.
No, I don't either. I could see signs of life when they played Tennessee. That was Billy keeps pointing to that game, and that was the moral victory that mattered. And the same thing with Georgia. If their quarterbacks don't get hurt, they might have won both those games. But you could see signs of life. But it's still one of the most dramatic turnarounds I've ever seen, Matt, that all of a sudden this coach who's left for dead and people couldn't wait to get rid of him suddenly plays all these good teams tough, other than Texas. We did have a quarterback. Wins 3 games at the end, including 2 ranked teams, is flipping every recruit in the country. It's one of the most amazing turnarounds I've ever seen. Isn't it for you?
Let me just say this. I'm going to blow your mind right here, okay?
Right.
And I can guarantee you at some point Billy Napier will say this or Scott Strickland will say this. If they have a healthy quarterback against Georgia and Tennessee, they then have victories over Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, and Ole Miss, and they're 9-3.
Right.
Think about that. Then they're all in there with that 9-3 group.
Yep. And it amazing. I mean, look, they were 7-5 anyway. And so you're exactly right. So what a crazy turnaround. Well, this final thing, will this continue? We will look up next year and Florida's 9 or 10 wins and Billy Napier's there for the long haul. Is that where we're headed?
I think if you're a Florida fan, you'd like to think that.
Right.
I'm not going in completely on that yet because I still have some reservations about his game day coaching.
Me too.
And just how the whole thing operationally looks. So we'll see.
Yeah, interesting. I'm with you. So interesting stuff. All right. Matt thinks Texas. I think Georgia. We'll see who wins in Atlanta on Saturday night. Great work as always, Matt. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, man.
All right, let's take a break. Let's do Hays' headlines after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
He's fearless in the face of danger when entering enemy territory.
What is your mission?
Get insights and interviews from Jags beat reporter Hays Carlyon when he takes you behind enemy lines. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. If you're looking for jewelry this holiday season, we have what you want at Underwoods, and we carry the hottest and best names you'll find anywhere in North Florida. The biggest name in designer jewelry is David Yurman, and his looks are more popular today than they were years ago when Underwoods introduced this designer to Jacksonville. And we carry David Yurman not just in ladies' jewelry, but also in timepieces in his extensive collection of men's jewelry. If it's a watch you're looking for, we carry Rolex and other watches considered to be the best in their price points. We also carry extensive collections of the jewelry we import directly from Italy and Spain that are always popular for their quality, style, and value. So if you want the hottest and most popular jewelry and want to be waited on by the most professional jewelry staff in the business, stop by Underwoods.
Underwoods, where customers are served with quality and respect. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra. Underwood Jewelers.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harrell and Harrell. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harrell and Harrell. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell and Harrell at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
At Hodges Mazda, they are proud of their solid reputation in the Jacksonville community. Lauren Brooks here as your hometown Mazda dealer. Their high customer service standards and their huge inventory of new and used cars provide their customers a consistently first-rate car buying experience. Their professional non-commissioned sales team puts your best interest first without exception. And all new car purchases include the Hodges Mazda Protection Plan. Visit Hodges Mazda online at HodgesMazda.com or stop in today during Mazda's A Season to Move You event and discover the Hodges Mazda difference.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
It's hard to stop. The Tomahawk Chop.
I'm RJ Saunders. Follow Florida State's road to the college football playoff on the Seminole Report.
Brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team on 1010XL.
Bolt City AC, heating that rules.
Is your AC ready for the holidays? Bolt City Heating and Air ensures your AC stays in tip-top shape. We know that a clean AC is a healthy AC. Upgrade yours for just $96 a month and enjoy free duct cleanings with your new system. Plus, ask about our 0% financing options.
Bolt City AC, we got the crew. Bolt City AC.
Visit BoltCityAC.com.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
The 12 Days of Christmas is back and better than ever at Best Bet Jacksonville. From December 12th to the 23rd, we're lighting up the tables with our much-anticipated High Hands promotion, giving away over $330,000 in cash and prizes. The excitement continues to grow each day, starting at $1,200 and climbing up to $2,300, and the chance to set sail on a card player poker cruise. Explore all the excitement at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Googa Nation, it's Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here to tell you this is no dream. The folks at Dreamfinders Homes right now have an unbeatable interest rate for you. You may not think you can afford a Dreamfinders home. Well, think again. Take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. I said it, 2.99%. 15 Jacksonville communities to choose from. Find that dream house and take advantage of an unbeatable rate. Move now, literally. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Budweiser reminds us to drink wiser, like hydrating between beers. It keeps the fun going longer, and it's a commitment to responsibility. Remember, good times are ahead, so no need to overdo it. Know when to say when, and always designate a driver.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harold & Harold. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. We appreciate our friends at Harold & Harold. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, lots to get to, so let's dive right in. The Jaguars signing quarterback John Wolford to the practice squad. Wolford was a sensational player for Bishop Kenny, graduating in 2013. He's been in the NFL a long time, started a handful of games in the league. Obviously, it's a nice insurance policy with the Trevor Lawrence injury.
Yeah, and you know what? what a cool thing for Johnny Wolford if he gets to play here. He grew up here, grew up in my neighborhood, by the way, but he's a Jacksonville guy. He's as Jacksonville as it gets, and I doubt he'll ever play. Doesn't look like he's going to play, but one more indication that they may not have Trevor, and we get that. We probably expect that at least for a while. But good for John Wolford. Good guy, good player. Good player. Good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get it to around the NFL, and we'll start with the Trevor Lawrence injury. The NFL has suspended Houston linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair for 3 games for the illegal hit on Trevor Lawrence. League executive John Runyon issued blistering critique of Al-Shaair's cheap shot and behavior afterwards. There, of course, will be an appeal.
Yeah, they got it right. 3 games I think 3 games is right. I would have liked more. I could have lived with more. I could have lived with the rest of the season. But I said on the air yesterday, well before knowing what it was, that I hoped for 3 games, and they got 3 games. Obviously, they're going to try and appeal it down to 2. I hope the appeal doesn't work. I'd be disappointed if it did. It depends on who hears it. There's a number of ex-players, one of whom is going to hear this appeal. It might be Derek Brooks. It might be Jordy Nelson. I don't have the whole list in front of me, but there's 4 or 5 guys, all of whom names you know, that are on the committee that assigned by both the NFL and the NFLPA.
Absolutely. Sad news. Tom Coughlin doesn't make the Hall of Fame this year. Mike Holmgren selected as the coaching finalist. And again, Holmgren won a Super Bowl with the Packers, got the Seahawks to a Super Bowl, and certainly has made a huge impact on the game. But Tom Coughlin has 2 rings and did some amazing things with the Jaguars. I'm just stunned that Tom Coughlin isn't already in the Hall of Fame. 2
rings and 4 trips to the AFC Championship game. That's a lot of trips to the championship game for one coach. I mean, think about how many coaches have gone to take Belichick off the list because he had Tom Brady. How many coaches have been in their conference's championship game 4 times? I mean, Andy Reid, obviously, but I mean, there hadn't been a lot of guys. And yeah, Tom should be in the Hall of Fame. I know we're biased about it, but I'm like you, very sorry. And that's no knock on Mike Holmgren, but I think if it was me, I might have Coughlin and Mike Shanahan both ahead of Holmgren.
Yeah, I would.
I think both of them, yeah.
Yeah, I would. It does give us a chance to remind people the J Fun Radiothon is tomorrow, and we'll talk to Coach Coughlin, so that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, disappointing news today in regards to the Hall of Fame. Hopefully next year it gets corrected and Tom Coughlin gets to be immortalized as he should be. Week 13 concluded last night as the Broncos win a wild game over the Browns, 41-32. I thought this game was going to be like 13-10. Both of them Broncos have an elite defense, and Cleveland has had an elite defense up until this year. Cleveland quarterback Jameis Winston was the story even in the loss. Threw for 497 yards and 4 touchdowns, but also threw 3 interceptions, including 2 pick sixes.
Yeah, you never see 2 pick sixes in a game. You also don't see just under 500 yards. Jameis he's kind of refound himself. He's done some good things. He's become very charismatic with his interviews, most of them spiritually based. Jameis has always been a guy that the part about him I do like is he doesn't take himself too seriously sometimes. I'm glad to see he's having some success, but you can't throw 2 pick sixes, obviously.
Yeah, I'm going to be really intrigued to see what Cleveland does because they can't get rid of Deshaun Watson, but you also don't have to play him.
That's right.
And it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I think Jameis, is a free agent, but at a very reasonable number might make a lot of sense for, particularly if they're going to hold on to Stefanski as they should.
Yeah.
I mean, Jameis, it's night and day. I mean, I thought maybe there was a chance it was just Cleveland, and that's why Deshaun Watson was struggling. Well, Jameis Winston has completely put that to bed.
Right.
I mean, he's been fantastic. I mean, compared to the meager numbers Deshaun Watson was generating.
Yeah, I'm with you. I really believe that Jameis Winston has a place in this league. It's fun when guys Sam Darnold rediscovered himself. Jameis Winston has. It's fun when guys once upon a time thought to be good players turned into busts, now turned to kind of unbusts, and that's what he's been.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's get it to the NFL draft as the Jaguars have been mathematically eliminated. We can go there, unfortunately. Will Campbell, the talented LSU left tackle, has entered the draft along with Missouri receiver Luther Burden, Iowa running back Caleb Johnson. So it is starting to fill up. Obviously, Deion Sanders has already said that his son and as well as Travis Hunter will be in the draft. So you're starting to see these potential top 10 guys. Certainly Campbell, Hunter, Sanders would be on that list. Burden is a first-round talent. Caleb Johnson, probably second-round guy. Some of that's the running back position. But the draft is starting to shape up, and the Jaguars could have the number 1 pick, but certainly look like well on their way to a top 7 pick.
Yeah, I can't imagine that the Jaguars would do – I can't imagine that the Jaguars have 10 draft picks. In a typical year, you sign, 5 or 6 free agents, give or take, ballpark? So that's 15 new players that you know of. I can't imagine that a high percentage of those, half maybe, aren't linemen. I just the periphery is actually built in some ways. The trenches are not.
Yeah, that Michigan defensive tackle is somebody to certainly watch out for when we get the Jaguars on the clock. Let's get it to college football. The transfer portal is starting to heat up. It doesn't officially open until December 9th, but that's not stopping people from going ahead and putting their names in. We'll focus on Florida today. A slew of Gators, but 4 that stood out. Kelby Collins, who was a very talented, hyped defensive lineman recruit. Jakeem Jackson, kind of the same thing at corner. Andy Jean, a talented receiver. And Justus Boone, a edge player for the Gators. All have put it out there that they will be entering the portal and leaving Gainesville.
Let me tell you the difference between this and the other guys they've lost. In the past, Florida has lost good players. They've lost starters. They lost Princely. They lost, even though Richie Leonard wasn't a great player, he was a starter. They lost Chris McClellan, who went on to be a good defensive tackle at Missouri. They lost Donovan McMillan, who went on to be a good safety at Pitt. They've lost guys that could have helped them. With all due respect to this group, and I hope they all become good players, none of them are going to play. And the guys you just ran off, there's guys stacked in front of them. Justus Boone didn't turn out to be very good. Kelby Collins, I agree with you, was a big-time recruit, but they've got 6 edges ahead of him. Now, if he could have gained weight and been a tackle, maybe. So the difference, in my mind, Hayes, the guys Florida's lost in recent years, Princely, Uman-Mielen, first and foremost among that list, were damn good players that you hated losing. These are players that were going to be backups, so I don't blame them.
Did you see this story? This came out last week and is generated some momentum. Andrew Luck is going to be the Stanford general manager. The 35-year-old, who obviously that's his alma mater, is now going to run the football program.
Yeah, there's a little-known rule at Stanford that the general manager can't weigh over 150, and Andrew's got himself under 150, so it can be that. You know what? Good for him. Hey, look, he's a wonderfully smart guy. By all accounts, he's an engaging, good person, a little bit eccentric, a little bit, goofy maybe, but a smart, committed guy. What surprises me, not that he's going to do it or think that he could do it, I think he'd be very good at whatever he wants to do, but he doesn't seem that committed to wanting to do football until now. Yeah. He didn't want to do TV. He didn't want to play anymore. Didn't look like he wanted to coach. At least that was my impression, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm surprised that all of a sudden now he wants to. That's what surprised me a little bit. Hey, good for him. Andrew looks, by all accounts, a well-liked guy, and hope he does great.
Isn't it amazing that he's still just 35?
I know.
I mean, he literally could have played 12 more years.
And would have been one of the great players of his generation.
Without a doubt.
That's what's surprising about, he just didn't want to do it. And you know what? Good for him. That's okay. Sandy Koufax was 28 or so. Barry Sanders was young. Sometimes they do it.
Let's get into college basketball. We haven't talked about the Gators much this week, but they whipped Wichita State 88-51 on Friday. That included a 27-0 run that built a 48-18 lead. The Gators held the Shockers to under 30% shooting and held a 56-30 rebounding edge. My goodness, this Florida team looks good.
Did you watch that game?
Oh, yeah.
Bro, at one point they were up 70-29. 70-29.
And Wichita State was 6-0.
Yeah, right. 70-29 with 10 minutes left in the game, and he pulled all his starters. And then even when the backups were in, they held that 30-40 point lead. Only when he pulled the backups and put in the walk-ons did Wichita State make it respectable. No, they've got to go. I'll say this again about Florida. They play Virginia tomorrow night. I'll say this again about Florida. He's made them big, tough, long, strong, and physical. That's why they dominate everybody in rebounding. I don't know if they can make shots the way they want to. If they shoot well, they'll be in the Final Four. If they don't shoot well, they'll be a tough, hard-nosed Sweet 16 team. But the physicality's there, man. It really is. They're a physical group.
Yeah, absolutely. Florida's up to 13th in the AP poll, and Todd Golden's team is doing even better as the net rankings have been debuted for this season. This has sort of replaced RPI a number of years ago, so
Correct.
the net ranking is what the committee kind of uses as its main tool.
Yeah, the net
in seeding
evaluation
the
tool is
field.
what it's for.
Yeah, and so it's interesting. It takes a little bit of time, obviously. You got to play some season before it makes sense to put the net rankings out, but they are out. Florida actually debuted at 6th when it came out yesterday. They dropped to 7th today, but Florida is 7th in the country, which would indicate a 2 seed is certainly a attainable goal for this team. Tennessee is number 1, followed by Auburn, as we've talked about the SEC strength. Kentucky's right there at 8 as well, so 4.
Where's Alabama?
Like 15th.
Okay.
And yeah, I would imagine Florida will probably fall as the season goes, and Alabama will rise, but it just speaks to what Todd Golden has done to even have Florida 7th overall right now. The Gators obviously play Virginia tomorrow night.
Here's what I'll tell you. I think they're going to be 11-1 when they go into SEC play. I think it's 12 games. I think they're going to lose. North Carolina and Charlotte's a tough out. Other than that, I think they're going to win most of their games. If they can get to 10 wins in the league, just go 10-8. They get to 10-8 in the league, or even 11-7, which they were last year, I think. You're 22-7, 22-8. You're a 5 seed. You're a 4 or 5 seed. Then, at worst, you're a 4 or 5 seed. So they could make a run. They really could.
Absolutely. Let's get to Major League Baseball. The golden at-bat rule. We hinted at this earlier in the show. Rob Manfred, the commissioner, says there's some buzz around this.
Yeah.
But it would be a rule that once a game, a team can immediately designate a player to hit.
Yeah, I'm all in. JJ, I'm all in favor of this. But not only do I want a golden rule, I want a silver rule, a bronze rule. I'd like a copper rule and a zinc rule, and I'd like to go about 8 deep. Okay, so JJ may be the dumbest thing Rob Manfred's ever thought of,
and he's thought of so many dumb things. The worst part is what Hays just said. He claims there's buzz around this. Who is buzzing about this? You are, Rob.
And it's funny, and I will say this. Most of the ideas they have come up with, I have liked, and they've seemed out of the box. Getting rid of the shift, I liked. Making a reliever stay in for three, I liked. The pitch clock, I liked. So even though those things were out of the ordinary, I liked all those. That's why, what in the world are you thinking with one this corny? I mean, that's what surprised me.
Well, and pace of play, I understand, was such a big thing for baseball in trying to reach a younger audience. So I understood putting things in place to speed the game up. This is to me almost like a pro wrestling gimmick where it's just being done.
That's Ohtani's music.
Right. It's by God. Yeah, I mean, so I would agree. I mean, this changes the entire integrity of the sport. I mean, it's hard to even come up with something in the NFL that would be the equivalent of this. But it's anyway, it will be interesting to see. I can't imagine this goes anywhere. Do you guys think?
No. To me, he's looking at the NFL and saying like, hey, their most popular player is in every single play as the quarterback. Maybe we should have Ohtani bat every single time.
But that's also the nature and sort of beauty of your sport.
Exactly. He doesn't care about that.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
No,
and I think that this was a trial balloon they floated. And they found out pretty quick.
It got popped.
Let's get it to golf. Tiger Woods says he is not close to competing on the PGA Tour. The 48-year-old Woods has had a litany of issues with his health, met with reporters prior to his tournament that he's hosting in the Bahamas, and said, I'm not close.
Yeah, I think we said this. I got there a little before you did, I think, Hays. But it was obvious a number of years ago. And look, he's 48. There's not a lot of other 48-year-olds either doing it. But I think it was obvious 5-6 years ago, if not longer, that the Tiger run was over. He wasn't going to win another major. He'd have a hard time even winning another tournament. He's still the greatest player in the history of the sport, and he did more for golf globally than anybody that ever will come along, not that has come along. But hey, and he's had a great run, and he was honest about it today. Good for him.
Absolutely. Let's get it to pop culture, because on this day, back in 1988, this happened.
Hey, safe. How about that? Get out! Hey, out! He was safe. He was out. Safe.
Now there's a sight I've never seen.
Hey, safe. Safe. He's out. He was safe. He never tagged him with the ball. You idiot. He was out when he ran out of the baseline. All right, I've had enough of your rally. What do you mean? You can't throw an umpire out of the game. Yeah. All right. You're out of here.
The Naked Gun. It's hard to find clips that you can play on the show.
Without beeping.
Yes, but so much of the gags are visual.
Yeah.
But my goodness, one of the funniest films ever released. The Naked Gun. If you've never seen it, if you like slapstick humor, fantastic.
First Naked Gun
movie. The first Naked Gun came out this week in 1988. Wow. It's hard to believe. And we will get you out on our musical note of the day because this week, back in 1972, the Eagles released Peaceful Easy Feeling, the third single from the band's debut album.
One of my favorite songs of all time. One of my favorite 2 or 3 songs ever written. The great Glenn Frey. I think the smoothest voice in the history of rock and roll. The smoothest lead singer voice. Not the greatest voice. I still can't believe Glenn Frey's gone. I really can't. Great song. Well done, Hays, as always. Back with one segment to wrap the program right after this. 'Cause I got a peaceful, easy feeling, and I know you won't let me down.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
After Week 13 in the NFL, the Detroit Lions, the betting favorite to win Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. The Lions at 11-1 or plus 250. They're currently riding a 10-game win streak in the Thursday night's matchup with Green Bay. The Buffalo Bills, who clinched the AFC West, are plus 500 to win the Super Bowl. Kansas City also at 11-1 at plus 500 as well. The Philadelphia Eagles plus 550. They're 10-2 on the season. Baltimore Ravens are plus 1,000. The Green Bay Packers are plus 1,300. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 9-3 on top of the AFC North, plus 2,500 to win the Super Bowl. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Deck the halls with pipes a-leaking, fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Oh no! Don't let plumbing ruin your season, fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Let's go!
Uh-oh. Got a clog or a leak messing with your holiday cheer? Call Duck Duck Rooter. We're the reindeer of repairs. Fast, reliable, and ready to slay your plumbing problems.
Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. Hooray!
904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. We're flushing your worries away this holiday season.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Looking for a better used car shopping experience? You'll find it at Nimnick Buick GMC, Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealership. With Car Bravo at Nimnick, you'll get transparent pricing, the best value for your trade, and peace of mind. And now is the best time to shop certified used cars and buy with confidence. For a limited time, enjoy rates as low as 1.9% APR on select Car Bravo certified vehicles. Only at Nimnick. Buying a certified used vehicle has never felt better. With Car Bravo, Nimnick Buick GMC can certify all makes and models. Honda, Toyota, Kia, Mazda, Ford. That's right, all makes, all models. Trading in your old vehicle? Well, don't forget who gives you top dollar for your trade. Nobody but Nimnick. So you can shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com or visit that terrific showroom right off of Phillips Highway. You want a great deal? Where do you go? Well, that's easy. Nobody but Nimnick.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 47th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget, and with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, open 7 days a week in December.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Go inside the huddle with our QB, David Garrard.
Hey, I know if you give me time, baby, we can do whatever we want.
And get into the head of an NFL signal caller. Mondays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Brought to you by WaterboyJax.com on 1010XL.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses an AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you can be credit card debt-free. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLS, consumeraccess.org.
Now, the Florida State Seminole Report, brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team.
The Florida State football team concluded the 2024 season with a 31-11 loss to Florida on Saturday night at Doak Campbell Stadium. With the loss, the Seminoles saw their 2-game win streak against the Gators come to an end. FSU had 239 yards of total offense, 140 of which would come from passing, 99 from the rush game. I'm RJ Saunders with your Ag Pro Seminole Report.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
David here with Rural Pest Services. Here's a special message from our president.
Thanks, David. This is Jordan Harrington, president of Royal Pest Services. We'd like to thank everyone who has trusted Royal Pest for their pest control needs this year. Wishing all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the Royal Pest family.
It's a game 80 years in the making. Join us for Thursday Night Football as we celebrate the 80th birthday of the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl game. The SEC and ACC face off January 2nd at 7:30 on Bill Gay grounds at Everbank Stadium. Don't miss college football pageantry on display as we celebrate our 80th anniversary. Tickets and hospitality packages are on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. Get yours today.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
This is Dr. James Perry, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars wide receivers had a productive day in Sunday's loss to the Texans. Rookie phenom Brian Thomas Jr. caught 4 passes for 76 yards and a touchdown and played a great game all around. Here's Doug Peterson breaking down what BTJ did well on Sunday, along with some of the areas he can clean up to improve his game.
BT, again, going into the football game, you make a conscious effort to try to get him target and get, the ball in his hands because he can be explosive. And, BT's hard on himself. He's gonna remember the one he dropped too. But I think about the ones that we missed. You think about the couple of deep throws that we had opportunities to execute and have some explosives there. I thought BT played really well. Him and Parker both played really well.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, Cool Down tells you where we've been in the program. We talked about Aziz Al-Shahir. He got a 3-game suspension. I agreed with that. I think Hays did as well. Could have even been more. Brett Hastings came along, Sports in Courts, and during Sports in Courts, talked about the appeals process and could it become a criminal case. We did that. We had our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week, which is always cool. A terrific young soccer player from Fletcher. We enjoyed that. Matt Hays stopped by to talk SEC football as well. That is where we've been today. That is the Cool Down for today. All right, I got a comment that I'm serious about that I'd like to see Billy Napier consider, and I'm 100% serious about this. Neil Brown got fired today at West Virginia. Neil Brown's only 44 years old. Neil Brown did not turn out to be a great head coach at West Virginia. He had a 9-win season last year, but it's mostly 6 and 7-win seasons. He was a terrific offensive coordinator for Mark Stoops at Kentucky. He was a terrific offensive coordinator at Troy before he got the head job at Troy. And when he got the head job at Troy, he won double-digit games almost every year. He's a really good football coach. Now, they play like Heupel. He likes to run to the line and play. He believes in developing quarterbacks. He believes in throwing the football. He coached under Tony Franklin, who was the Heupel before Heupel, playing fast, spreading the field, really, really highly regarded offensive coordinator. Went to Texas Tech under Tommy Tuberville and then started getting head jobs. Had he not, he would have been a prized coordinator. That's who I would hire. I would hire Neil Brown, who, again, was not a great head coach at West Virginia, lasted 6 years, never got it going there. But and I know Neil, by the way, and he's real respected in the college football industry. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this.
And he won 72 games at Troy in West Virginia.
Right.
So 72 and 51.
I would hire him right. I mean, I'm telling you, and I would give him the offense. And his style would fit what Lagway and they want to do. He's an athletic core. I'm telling you, I'd love that's somebody like him. But I'm telling you, someone's going to hire. I will promise you this. And he's a college guy, not a pro guy, I think. One of these colleges are going to scoop him up. He was making $3 million as the coach of West Virginia. He'll make $2 million being a coordinator at Florida, right? Two and change probably.
Yeah,
I would do it. Agree or disagree?
No, I agree. I think I hadn't thought about it, but yeah, I think Neil Brown is a fantastic choice. The biggest thing is, I think for Napier is have the self-awareness to say, boy, I might have really turned this thing, and we may be on the precipice of something really special.
Correct.
I fixed the special teams this year. Obviously, defensively, I feel better about what we're doing on that side of the ball. If it's time for me to delegate the offense and bring in an offensive coordinator and hand him the keys and let him run the offense, Napier, as a CEO, could be spectacular at this because he obviously can identify players. He can recruit. He identifies guys in the portal well. Look at his track record with receivers in the transfer portal. So, and again, you have to give Napier credit for Mertz. I mean, I laughed at that. I thought I was livid when he decided to do that. And obviously, he saw something in Graham Mertz that translated to playing highly efficient football in the SEC. So I think Billy Napier shows signs of being a fantastic CEO of a program, but his weakness is that he believes he's a great offensive mind.
Right.
And that's where
100%.
if he can have that hard conversation with himself and say, I'm going to give up something I love, which is being a play caller and being the real leader of this offense, greater goals await me. I mean, Billy Napier could leave Florida with an unbelievable legacy. He's one move away.
Right, and I totally agree. And Neil Brown, by the way, is a Napier kind of guy. They're about the same age. He's 44. What's Napier? 46, maybe 47. And one of the things that probably hurt Neil a little bit as a head coach, he's a little bit of not eccentric, but really wants his players to develop as people, like an old school coach. How many books do you read a year? What's your philosophy? How do you treat? I mean, he's a really good guy. And Napier's kind of like that. But I would hire Neil Brown. I'm telling you, he's really good now. He was really good at Kentucky, and then he got the Troy head job, and then from Troy he got the West Virginia head job. So he's been a head coach for 10 years. So he understands if you handed him the offense and made him the head coach of the offense, he would know how to do it.
Well, and you'd have to think he'd crawl for the job, because if Neil Brown goes to Florida and puts up 2 great years with DJ Lagway,
that's exactly right.
He's getting
the Auburn coach.
He's probably Mark Stoops' successor at Kentucky.
Exactly right, and he's beloved there. He's really well liked in the coaching industry. I can tell you that too. So hire him right now. Hire Neil Brown right now and hand him the offense. And I would love. Now there'll be other guys available. Right. He's available. I mean, he's like available now.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't take. I'll give Mike. And by the way, he's a better offensive coach in my mind than Gus Malzahn. And so, and I think Gus is a good offensive coach, but I'll give Norvell credit. It didn't take him very long to do it. Hire him tomorrow. I mean, the season's over. Hire him tomorrow. Let him get a hold of Lagway and those guys. And he's also a good recruiter. I mean, this is the guy.
And to have SEC experience really helps. It wasn't for very long, but the fact that he was an OC at Kentucky
for 3 years,
I mean that certainly that will be beneficial.
Yeah. So that's the minute I saw that today, I said, you know what? That's the kind of guy he should bring in.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy he should bring in. And I'll give him credit for this. He was guilty in the past of only having these young guys on his staff, young guys that were under him. Well, when he went and got Ron Roberts, at least that's an older veteran guy, regardless how good he turned out to be. I think he needs a few grown-ups on his staff.
Yeah, you famously said last year, I want to see some gray in the media guide when I look at the
need some coaches with gray hair.
And Roberts has gray.
Yes, I need that. So, but anyway, I hope.
That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, I would really like to see him do something like that. I will say, the word from people inside Hays is that Billy has told the people that matter, yes, he's open-minded to bringing in an offensive coordinator and turning it over if he finds the right guy. You know, he really is. Matt Hays has said many times that he offered the job to Charlie Weiss Jr., who's very good, by the way, and Weiss said, no, I'd rather stay with Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. And good for him. He was loyal. But I'm saying, if that's true, then at least he had the conversation about it. So Neil Brown, I think Neil Brown would be very, very good. Again, did not turn out to be a great head coach at West Virginia. He was okay. Won 9 games last year.
Yeah, he had a winning record.
Yeah, but he's a guy that I think, as an offensive coach, is just focusing on developing quarterbacks, developing receivers, playing fast. I kept saying, if everything else Billy Napier's doing, if he could get a Josh Heupel type to run his offense, look out. And especially with Lagway. And now Tramel Jones is pretty good now. And who else? And they get Will Griffin coming next year.
Right.
And this is.
Well, for all Napier's shortcomings as an offensive mind, if you look at him as a CEO,
right.
I mean, he looks like he could be outstanding as a college football head coach that's a CEO that delegates. Look at the culture that he's built.
Dabo. Now Dabo,
absolutely.
Dabo, it went a little bad with the portal stuff.
Right.
But Dabo's not an offensive mind. Dabo's not a defensive mind. He's never been a coordinator, but he's so well liked. He's such a good recruiter. He's such a good person that people respond. He's really like Dabo. The only problem is, unlike Dabo, he wanted to be the coordinator and the coach. You know, but I think you could really, again, Dabo Swinney's a wonder. He's got 2 rings. Rings are hard, by the way. And if you have 2 rings, you're pretty damn good. But never call him plays at any point. So we'll see what ends up happening. Folks, that's our program. Do want to remind you, we're very excited about tomorrow. It's our Tom Coughlin J Fun Radiothon. We can't wait all day long. Start in the morning. We really need you to participate, and I know that you will. So we're looking forward that comes up tomorrow all day long. Rick Ballou is next. Don't go anywhere. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.